Who's your best Griselda member?
I would say it's Conway myself. I would feel Conway. I love the way, like Benny the Butcher is great, and West Side Gun has his own style and his own aesthetic. But as far as a rapper, I prefer Conway. You know,
Conway.
Yeah,
I think I'm more Benny. Benny the Butcher. But I was very, very disappointed when J. Cole took him to school.
Yeah, but J. Cole is taking everyone to school. If you don't wanna be taken to school, then don't bring the teacher on your songs.
Don't bring the teacher on your songs.
Like,
and it's funny that he says it on the track while they're featuring him.
Yeah.
I think that's very disrespectful, J. Cole.
Yeah, that's somewhat, and that's so respectful also, because if J. Cole doesn't come on his A game, it means he doesn't respect you. So if he doesn't outshine you, it's by respect that he has to outshine you, because if not, people won't be attracted to the song and the single.
Because even as a line where he says, I might go to jail if Jesus asked for feature, because he was going to kill.
He was going to murder second time.
He almost took Kendrick to school too.
Yeah, but Kendrick is one that is hard
to kill. He's hard to box.
His technique is impeccable, and also he has different flows, different interpretation styles.
Yes.
To me, they are the two best rapper of our time. Like, to me, both of them. And I don't know if you guys know,
Kendrick
but
and J. Cole, right, for you.
Yeah,
which is very surprising because you're from the North.
Yeah, but you know what? I have an original song with Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if you guys knew.
No, we don't know.
Yeah, and even start his verse by "From Compton to Montreal."
Wow!
So that's really a verse he wrote for our featuring. But
that's amazing.
It was previous to him being signed to Aftermath.
Yes.
It was like 2012.
Yeah.
At the time he was doing the Section 8.
That means
Section 80.
You're the second person. You're the third person I met who has a Kendrick Lamar verse.
Who else?
There's a homie of mine called Kenan. Okay. Kenan, who's from Compton. They grew up like in school. He tells me that he taught Kendrick how to rhyme. I'm like,
come on. Like,
but he says, when they were kids.
Does he has receipts? Does he has a song published with them?
They actually have it on Spotify. Like he blessed his childhood friend with.
That's good. Then.
If this is even after being signed, he blessed him with one. Didn't have to pay for it. It's like
that's blessed, bro.
Yeah. Today is a very, very beautiful day, right? And this is the Zambaland Podcast episode number 9. 9 is a very, very special number, as you will get to know from our guests that we have in the studios today. 9 is a very, very blessed number. This is the Zambaland Podcast, and I'll start by introducing the one and only son of the soil, all the way from Montreal, and that other city which I can't pronounce properly, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Artist, hip hop enthusiast. Oh my God, these bars are crazy. I was listening to this track that he did called "Raising Bread," and I was like, "Damn, this is like really, 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 really cool." And I missed that kind of hip hop actually in Uganda. We haven't had that type like in a while. Everybody has been chasing a hit. We'll get into that whole conversation. We'll be talking about his love for art, his love for spirituality, how we ended up in this very space. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Monk.E.
Yeah.
Gratitude. You already know gratitude. Much love.
Yeah.
Bagalanyo.
Yeah.
Mukamako Mukisa.
Yeah, man.
I'm really pleased to be here. Uganda is definitely my university for the past 11 years.
Yes.
I'm a student of Africa, and Uganda has been my most predominant teacher for the past 11 years. So I'm really grateful to be raised in the consciousness of East Africa, using art and activism and spirituality to gain the full potential of my soul, of my artistic identity, and of my social network.
Wow, that sounds so amazing actually.
It is.
Like if Kampala were to serve that to anybody, I think that would be like a full plate right there that you've just
That's
described.
my full plate, like 5 services.
Yes.
Appetizer, dessert, popping bottles. That's Kampala for me,
Yeah, man. And on the podcast today, we have our special guest. Believe it or not, you're the very first guest on this pod.
Amazing.
Yeah. So grand opening, ladies and gentlemen, 2025.
On the 9th
man.
episode, also 9 is the number of completion, so meaning there's one full circle being completed with this episode.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is the last chapter to your next level. Episode 10 will be a new beginning for you guys. So I'm happy to be the initiator,
Of
the
the completion.
shaman
Yes.
of that
Yeah.
completion. you know?
Everything coming
Yay.
back full circle, ladies and
circle.
gentlemen.
Oh.
Collins, how
Yeah.
many counting numbers are there in the... How many counting numbers are there?
How many counting numbers are there?
Yes. It's a trick question,
There's 10.
That's illogical.
right?
There's 10 numbers.
The 10 numbers.
Yeah.
From
zero to
I
nine.
know. Oh, you've just given him the answer. I wanted to fire the question to
What
him
numerology?
because he would have said 9.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, but you didn't count 0.
Yeah, 0 is an important number.
Yeah. And on the podcast, I have Mr. Edimu Collins, the
Yeah.
Ejakite himself,
Yeah, man.
The usual
No
suspect.
idea.
the usual suspect.
Yeah.
So many people think he's Nigerian. Actually,
Yeah.
we don't even know his source. Some sources say he's a Chwezi, you know. He's just walking the earth with we humans.
Yeah.
So he's not
He's from a
Nigerian?
special place. No,
I thought he was Nigerian.
he looks Nigerian, no? So Collins is with us, ladies and gentlemen. Obugalo.
Big up, big up, big up.
Pleasure.
And then we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Greene, Amani.
Golden fingers.
Did you just say the man, the myth?
The myth and the legend.
Yes.
In one.
What's up?
All in
What's
one.
up? Yeah.
I mean, he has discovered new artists. He
Yeah.
has created some of the most groundbreaking hip hop beats in
Yeah.
Uganda.
Yeah.
It's only right we call him a legend. Are you disputing that Greene is a legend?
No, Frank agenda kujawa no.
Ah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
But Frank didn't originate that. That has been said like by so many people in the
Yeah,
world. It's like
yeah.
a very, very, very common phrase. But
Yeah.
it's only right
Yeah.
that we refer to Mr.
Yeah,
Greene.
he is a
We-
legend,
we
big
recognize
time.
each other's gifts,
Straight
right?
up, straight up.
Recognize each
Straight
other's
up,
gifts.
no
So,
doubt. No
so
doubt.
today we've just witnessed somebody create a verse and a chorus within less than
15
20 minutes.
Yeah,
But 15
exactly.
minutes.
Yeah.
Less than 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you develop that kind of skill? Where does that come from?
Well, since really young, I've been sharpening my capacity to be creative at all time. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm a freestyle champion, 3-time champion of EOW Canada.
No way.
Yeah, that's what brought me to Uganda the first time. It was for the World Final in 2014 in Kampala.
Yeah.
I was the Canadian champion representing my
Oh,
country.
wow.
But
So were you with End of the Week by then?
yeah, exactly. When
Okay,
EOW, it's end of the week.
Yes,
it's just
yes, yes.
slang for it, you know.
Yes.
So I was 2012, 2013,
Oh,
and
man.
2014.
Sorry.
champion.
Why am I being too slow? I'm being too slow. I need
Yeah.
either coffee or whatever you guys gave me in the morning. You get me? Because I had EO dub. I'm like, okay, sawa. But for those who don't know, a dub is the W.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
EOW, it's
Dub
the
is
W, so it's end of the
So
week.
End of the week.
These are the
is-
acronym of
yes,
end
is
of
the
the week.
acronym. Yeah.
So that's what brought me the first time to Uganda. But to go back to your question, I think like because I've been so immersed and submerged into creative at all and to creating at all time,
Yeah.
it becomes now a second nature, you know, like
Yes, yes.
this is how I've been living my YOLO, you know. For those who don't know YOLO, I think it's going to be an acronym episode because there's so many acronyms, but
Yes,
YOLO
yes.
means you only live once.
Yes.
And it was developed in the mid 2010 or something,
Yes,
2005,
yes,
and it
yes.
was to describe the la vida loca, the party life, and
Yes.
the
Yeah.
fact that we have an urgency to live. But
Yes.
the way I've interpreted my YOLO is
And it's also something people say before they make their worst decisions. So I think-
often. So me, it's kind of the other way around. YOLO, it's because it should be the opposite. If you can recognize that you only live once, then
Yeah,
every
yes,
opportunity should be used to the full potential.
Yeah.
So, and to me, I use every opportunity to its full potential through art and creativity. So
Yes.
knowing that I only have 2 weeks left in Uganda, knowing that I most likely won't be able to come back to the studio here,
Yes.
knowing that you were eating and preparing for this interview instead
Yes.
of waiting
Yes.
and wasting that half hour.
Just use those 15
Greene was
minutes.
already producing something,
Yes,
so
yes.
I said, let me just jump on something to make
Yes,
the
yes.
best out of this moment, you know. And
Yeah.
so I guess it's that urgency of feeling alive and being alive and influencing my reality
Yes.
that brought me to a high capacity of always creating to a fast pace, you know.
I think that's really, really, really important, and I think it's something which I've noticed. In Uganda, we never had that sense of urgency. We are a great people, but we don't really have a sense of urgency
Yeah,
in most of the things that we do because we know I'll see him some other time. If I miss him today, I'll see him. Like, what's the point if I'm 2 hours late? Like, chill, brother.
Yeah, it's definitely an American approach too, which has its bad side, but also its good side. You know,
in terms of efficiency, because I know people who go to the studio and they create like 5 songs in a night.
Mm-hmm.
5 songs in a night. Well, I know people who take a beat and take a month with it.
Yeah. Also,
you know. But I think developing that muscle and that being fast kind of acclimatizes you to always work that way.
Yeah. And also, to me, it helped me materialize the moment. You know, it's not something that is happening through a long period of time. It's something that happened in the moment. So I grab the energy that is alive now, and I try to put it into immortalize it in my creative process, you know. So it is a bit of a different approach, which sometimes it's more vibey, you know. Some people can collect bars by bar through a month, and that's everything is a bar. Everything is
what I was going to
bar,
ask.
You know?
That's what I was going to ask, because I know people in this era who are obsessed with the punchline, right?
Yeah.
And this being a hip hop podcast, is only right we talk about this.
Yeah.
There are people who are obsessed with throwing so many punchlines in one verse.
Mm-hmm.
So their whole week they're collecting, or their whole month they're collecting, waiting for that one moment when they would unleash all of this, right?
Yeah.
But I noticed that, I don't know if this is how you create, I'm only assuming. Are you writing fast because you're letting a stream of consciousness go through you?
100%. And often I will, there's still a lot of substance and there's still a lot of word plays in my bars, and still a lot of bars, but it's not like one measure by one measure.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I leave the sound leads my writing.
Yes.
I write in multi-syllables, so my rhyme always contain 3, 4, 5 syllables rhyming every time, you know. So I leave the sound. Okay, it's this rhyme leads me to this other rhyme.
Okay, Monk, let's slow down. There are some people who don't even know what a syllable is.
Okay, so a syllable is a sound, like in the word, let's say attraction.
Yes.
There's 3 syllables.
That's
attraction.
Yeah.
So there's 3 syllables. So me, instead of rhyming good with hood, which is 1 syllable rhymes, I would rhyme attraction with action, mat action, lat action. You see, so now there's no word, but I know that's what I'm searching. Like, so
attraction, interaction,
no,
saturation,
no,
segregation,
no,
transmission,
no. So with attraction, it would be
or you could slant the rhyme to go to like something fraction.
Oh yeah, no, it could be like attraction.
Yeah,
I never do that with a whack action. You see, like a whack action, attraction will keep the 3 syllable rhyme.
Yes.
And then I just multiply these 3 syllable rhymes, and sometimes I have in between rhymes. I would say every track slaps and create attraction. That's that. I'm never with whack action. So now I have act attraction, act whack actions. So
that's amazing.
That's the mathematic I use in my bar. So often I will lead the sounds, and then I have to put a purpose with that sound. Which sometimes will not have necessarily a big punchline, but will have a rhythmic hypnosis or a trance, hypnotic trance that lead me to every 4 or 8 bars, then having a big punchline, having a big wordplay.
I like that a lot. And it's a skill of a very skilled MC to do multis, actually.
Yeah. Most
people just do boy, toy, and
that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It takes skill to like layer that.
Yeah. It takes time, it takes experience. It's like it's like layers. Like at first I was only rhyming with 2 syllables every bar, and then I start rhyming 3 syllables every bar, and then I start rhyming A B with 3 syllables, and then doing A B, and then complexing the mathematic and playing with it and trying to be harmonious but try to be unpredictable also. So to me, because I don't do melodies, I do believe rap is rhythm and poetry. So the poetic side of what you write is so important. You cannot only rely on your flow. You can't rely on your swag and on your drip. You need to have poetry. You need to have
I have a
deep
question
substance
for you. I have
in your
a question
poetry.
for you, like right there.
Go ahead.
There. Because I've observed like rhyming styles of people who it's rhyme and poetry, right?
Yeah.
But I've also observed like guys who are like great or are considered great. Like when I observe Prodigy,
Yeah.
I don't hear a rhyme there.
No, there a lot of times he's not necessarily rhyming. It's a vibe and it's a different thing, you know.
and it's a story that he's telling.
It is, but to me,
Yeah.
without offending anyone, to
Yeah.
me, in my own criteria, that's why he never been in my favorite rappers.
Mm,
He did classic works with his album, with the
Yes.
universe he created, with the sound and the music they were
Yes, yes.
putting forward. But to me, I'm a child of Nas. I'm a child of Big
Im-
L. you
Immortal
know.
not Immortal Technique. Who's the guy? MF Doom.
Yeah, MF Doom.
MF Doom does
And-
multis a lot.
Yeah, a lot of multis.
Yeah, yeah.
Who does a lot of multis? Some from the Wu-Tang, or like someone like Cool G Rap, which is even older, but
Much
he was
older,
one of the
the
one of the
originals.
first person bringing like a lot of complex multis.
Yes, yes.
And now you would have people like the Griselda brothers or other people that are deep on the multis.
Who's your best Griselda member?
I would say it's Conway myself.
Mm.
I would feel Conway. I love the way, like Benny the Butcher is great, and
Yeah.
and West Side Gun has his
Yeah.
own style and his own aesthetic. But as far as a rapper, I prefer Conway. You know.
Conway.
Yeah.
I think I'm more Benny.
Yeah.
More Benny the
Benny
Butcher.
the Butcher.
But I was very, very disappointed when J. Cole took him to school.
Yeah, but J. Cole is taking everyone to school. If you don't wanna be taken to school, then don't bring the teacher on your
Don't
songs.
bring the
you know?
teacher on your song.
Like-
And it's funny that he says it on the track while they're featuring him.
Yeah.
I think that's very disrespectful, J. Cole.
Yeah, that's somewhat, and that's so respectful also, because
Yeah.
if J. Cole doesn't come on his A game, it means he doesn't
doesn't
respect,
respect you.
So if he
Oh,
doesn't
I see,
outshine
I see,
you,
I see, I
like
see.
it's by respect that he has to outshine you, because
Yeah.
if not, people won't be attracted to the song and the single.
Because
You know?
even as a line where he says, I might go to jail if Jesus asked for feature. Because he was going to kill. What?
Yeah, it was going to murder second time.
Yeah.
He almost took Kendrick to school too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Kendrick is one that is
Kendrick
hard
is
to,
hard to
because
kill. He's
his-
hard to box.
his
Yeah.
technique is impeccable, and
Yeah.
also he has different flows, different interpretation styles.
Yes.
To me, they are the two best rapper of our time. Like, to me, both of them.
it's-
and I don't know if you guys
it's
know,
Kendrick
but
and J. Cole,
I've-
right,
I've-
for you.
yeah, and-
Which is very surprising because you're from the North.
yeah, but you know what? I have an original song with Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if you guys knew.
No, we don't know
Yeah,
that.
I've-
We
and
don't know
even
that.
even start his verse by "From Compton to Montreal."
Wow.
So that's really a verse he wrote for our featuring. But it was
That's amazing.
it was previous
man.
to him being signed to,
Yes,
to
yes,
Aftermath.
yes.
It was like 2012.
Yeah.
At the time he was doing the Section 8.
That
project.
means
Section 80.
you're the second
Section
person.
80.
You're the third person I met who has a Kendrick Lamar verse.
Who else?
There's a homie of mine called Kenan.
Okay.
Kenan, who's from Compton. They grew up like in school. He tells me that he taught Kendrick how to rhyme. I'm like,
Come on.
Like,
but he says, you know,
does
like
he has
as when they were
receipts?
kids.
Does he has receipts? Does he has a song published with
they
him?
do. They
Okay.
actually have it
Okay, that's
on
blessed
Spotify.
then.
Like he blessed his childhood friend with.
That's good then.
With if this is even after being signed, he
Okay,
blessed
yeah,
him with
yeah.
one. Didn't have to pay for it. It's like
That's blessed, bro.
yeah. Man, like this could go so many different directions
Yeah.
because now we have like being an avid, you know, like creator and also listener, a hip hop head, right?
Yeah.
You already said you don't have Prodigy in your top 5.
No.
Do you have Snoop in your top 5?
Nah.
I see where this is going. One more, then I'm going to
Okay,
figure it
go
out. Do you have
No, he's not.
whoever I'm thinking about is
Yeah.
He's not.
Nah.
Exactly. But
Andre 3000?
Kinda, yeah. He's
Kinda.
up there. It's just that I can recognize his skill. It's just that me, I grew up in a moment like Montreal. We're 6 hours away from New York. We are on the East Coast,
you're
right?
on the East
so for
Coast.
us, when all of these other waves of rap arrived, when the West Coast arrived, when the
Yes.
South started being productive,
Yes.
for us it was a new sound, and we are a bit too conservative.
Yes,
and for
yes.
us, it was not real rap for a
The
second.
the
you know?
purest hip hop is in actually Canada and some Europe now.
There's a lot of purists, and I would say
a
the,
lot of purists,
the
yeah.
new sound of purists to me, that it's the sound that I'm a lot producing. Like last year, I produced 4 full albums.
Yes.
This year, I have 5 albums already ready to go
Wow.
out. And I've been doing a series of 1 single a month for the past, like 1 video clip
Yes.
a month for the past 32 months now. So it's been 3 years in a row that every month I have a video coming out.
Guys, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, guys are lazy.
You're not working hard enough. 5 albums already to download to load on the masses in 2005.
Yeah, and I'm still writing.
You need one more 5 to make it complete 5. 3 5s.
Yeah.
The angel number.
Yeah, well, I did 4 last year, 5 this year.
Yes.
So maybe hopefully I'm doing 6 next year. But
Yes.
but it's not. I'm not running for that. It's just that I'm really creative these days, and also the songs are getting shorter. We don't do third verse songs most of the time.
Yes.
The albums,
except if you're Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks
Yeah,
goes
exactly.
back to that verse.
yeah,
No?
we don't. So the songs are 2:30 instead of 3:30.
Yes.
The album are 12 songs instead of 18 songs.
Yes,
So
yes.
it allows you to play more, and all of my album are in duo with
Yes.
one beat maker. So
Yeah.
all the album has their own sound. Even if we
Yes.
explore different styles,
Yes.
it's all coherent because it's all made
By
by
the same
one
person.
Yes.
producer.
Yes.
So I've been productive like that these days. I don't remember what we were talking about before though. It was
We were talking about your top
the West
5,
and
your
also
top
about
5
the
and also
East
about-
Coast and all
yeah,
of this.
the
And
purists.
there's this new wave that
Yeah.
is not arrived in Africa. I don't see African artists doing it yet. You were telling me about Raisin Bread earlier, but
Yes.
that whole album is produced by Mike Shab, which is he produced for Conway, he produced for Boldy James, he produced
Yeah.
for this new wave of boom bap artists.
Yeah.
But there's a movement in New York for the past maybe 6 years now, even more with Rock Marciano
Yes.
and Ka,
Yeah.
that
Yes.
is called Drumless.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
Oh,
We actually-
yes. We
actually
were just
talked to him about
talking.
it.
He was telling me about it. Like we need to do a drumless.
You
joint.
should. You brothers
Yeah,
should
yeah.
do a drumless, and
Yeah.
and because now it's being branded internationally as the rebirth
The rebirth of hip hop,
of
basically.
purist
because
hip-hop, of lyricism.
It takes the attention back to lyricism.
Yes.
Let your lyrics carry you without the beat helping.
and
Yeah.
it also goes back to samples, which a
Sampling.
lot are
Yes,
influenced by
yes.
soul and R&Bs from the 70s from America. So the sound look a lot like the music from the 90s, from the boom bap from the
Yes,
90s, from the
yes.
golden era, but with the drum taken away from it.
Yes.
You only rap on the loops,
And the
which
sample.
makes your rhyme and your patterns of multi-syllables
Yes.
become the percussion.
Yes.
This is what your placement of rhymes are, the hits.
Do you give credit for this new rebirth being a Kendrick Lamar creation?
No, not at
Do
all. I
you-
think
who do you give it to?
I would give it to Rock Marciano. I would
Yeah.
give it to Ka. He just passed away recently. He's
Yeah.
more underground, but I would say those who brought that style commercial or like highly
Yeah.
international again would be the Griselda brothers.
Griselda.
Griselda.
And I'll also put Joey Badass in there. Because his latest
Yeah.
freestyle was also like...
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's, because a lot of these people, like even Drake recently, he had a drumless on his album,
Yeah.
But these people are not known to do full albums of drumless.
drumless.
Okay,
They are
okay,
the
I
one
see
who's
it, I see
taken,
it.
like even Kendrick, he would do one drumless out of a 18 songs,
Oh.
But people like Rock Marciano or people like Nicola Craven,
Even
which
Larry
is a
June?
big producer in our land in Montreal, Nicola
That
Craven.
that also reminds me of sorry for cutting you, but it reminds me of one project. Remember the Jay-Z project with what's this guy's name?
I don't remember. Is it Ninth
Mr.
Wonder?
Exhibit
or-
E, Exhibit C.
Was
what's
it
that
the
guy's
444 album?
name? No. This is a different artist who is
Okay.
a Jay-Z collaborator.
Okay.
Who did Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C?
I don't remember.
He was- he was also on the control.
Yeah. It's J Electronica.
That remember that joint that they did together? I think if I remember,
Yeah, it
I
can
think
be
it was
also.
drumless,
And
right?
I would say also Action Bronson is someone who
Ah,
was that. But
yeah.
even before that, there's one Wu-Tang member and it's Ghostface Killer.
Ghostface.
So,
And almost on all Wu-Tang album, he was having one song when it was Marvin Gaye.
yes,
He was
yeah.
even rapping over the voice. He was like, so I would say different people have touched on the style,
So-
but the person who actually materialized that style is Rock Marciano,
Yeah.
which is a member of Flip Mode Squad,
Yes.
friend with Busta Rhymes and all of this.
Yes,
he
yes,
made
yes.
his old branding
Wow.
being without drums.
Drumless.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so Marciano was part of Flip Mode?
Yeah, and he completely changed his style when he got out of Flip Mode Squad.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. now we could get into another whole
Yeah.
flipboard discussion.
But you see, but you as an African lyricist, you
Yeah.
should get on drumless
Oh,
now
most definitely,
because the wave is going to be
definitely.
here in like 2 years. So
Yeah.
if you want to be a pillar of that new wave,
Yes.
do it before it's arrived. You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
you're going to be already placing yourself as a pillar of that new style, and you'll be able to claim that you already have an EP without drums or something without drums. You know, like me, this far, I already have 4 albums that don't have drums.
Which is really hard for African artists because the drums, like
the drums. It's
our
Africa, brother.
Drums
are everything.
How am I supposed to create without a drum?
Yeah.
The ancestors will be like,
Yeah, they would be
You're
mad.
gonna have to walk this one on your own.
Yeah. That's a funny
You
one.
get me. But this is really, really interesting. Where do I even go with this? So you mentioned Action Bronson.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Ghostface.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I was watching Raising Bread, I was like, I would put you in that genre. Would you be mad at that?
No, I'm not mad because it is
Yeah.
musically it is that style, that aesthetic. I would say like also because you don't necessarily understand the content of the French that I'm rapping about.
Yes.
I would say my content is maybe closer to a reggae artist. My music are prayer. All of my albums
Oh,
are
interesting.
openly
Yes.
dedicated to God. I speak about
Yes.
virtues and vice and in inner conflicts and wars and
Yes.
introspection. So I would say as a poet, I'm on my own league. There's really no one that raps like me as far as the flows and as far as the
Yes,
content.
yes.
But I would say as far as the beat that I choose,
Yes.
yeah, I'm in that category
beat selection.
of Ransom, of
Yeah.
Griselda.
Oh,
and
damn, that's a good category to be in.
it is. That's our rebirth,
It's MC
you know.
heavy. It's very MC
that's
heavy.
adult lyricism, you know, and
Yes,
it's coming
yes.
back. For a long time, we were on melodies and vibes and mumbling,
Yeah.
but now the content is needed. People want to hear.
His best artist
Substance.
is Ice Spice.
Oh yeah,
We're in the same room with the guy who loves Ice Spice. That's his best female
That's the
MC.
biggest lie I've had this year.
that's a lie, huh? That's funny.
biggest
But
lie I've had this
he told me you're saying that just because you're jealous that your favorite artist Izzy Agilia was outshined by Ice.
Oh, come on.
That's what I heard. That's the rumor that I've heard.
I'm only a fan of Iggy Azalea on OnlyFans.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Oh, shit.
I've always told you my favorite female MC is Young M.A.
Young M.A. is
Young
great.
M.A. is good.
She's
Young M.A. is
great.
good, but
She's
she
a
can't
good
touch
rapper.
Rhapsody.
Rhapsody is probably my favorite. To me, Rhapsody, she's bringing back what I loved about Bahamadia.
Bahamadia, yes.
Like I really love
yes.
Bahamadia, the timbre
Yeah.
of her voice and the
Yes.
lyricism.
Yeah.
To me, like Rhapsody, she's placed in that the Roots, Mos Def, Talib Kweli.
Yes.
To me, family of
Is
lyricism.
Montreal hip hop heavily influenced by Detroit, New York?
I would say, yeah,
or do you have originals from the Montreal scene?
The thing with Montreal is that it's hard to be like the thing that has the most success internationally for Montreal
Yeah.
is our producers.
For people who don't know, Montreal is in Canada.
Yeah, it's in the French-speaking province called Quebec
Yes, yes.
of Canada.
Yes.
So we are bilingual. We speak French and English, and I would say that's our strength and our weakness.
Yes.
Is the fact that the scene is divided into
It's Duolingo.
it's Duolingo. So
Yeah.
so we don't have enough French supporter to make a full career,
Yes.
and we don't have enough English supporter to make a full career.
So I would be blessed if I were born in such a place where if I would speak 2 languages and switch. In Africa, half of the continent is also divided up that way.
That's true.
That if you're English speaking, you can only have this market.
Yeah.
But then you also have all these other countries, the Cameroon,
From the French,
from the
yeah.
French side, like there's that other whole territory which most people who were colonized by the British don't even know anything about. Like,
Yeah, but I would say also there's something in Africa. The domination and the hierarchy of languages is less intense than us in America. Here you will listen to Nigerian music without understanding what they're saying necessarily.
Definitely, yeah.
Here you would listen to Amapiano without understanding what they're
Yes,
saying.
yes.
So there's already an openness to just music as itself without understanding the lyrics.
Yes.
So in that sense, if you have a big hit in Luganda, then it could be international too. If you have a big hit in English,
Yeah.
you already have supporters.
Angele, wa.
You know what I mean?
Angele. I don't even know what they were talking
You know
about.
that's a heartbreak song.
What was it?
It was a heartbreak song.
It was a heartbreak song. It
Yeah.
sounds so happy. Was he happy he broke up?
Maybe found his freedom again.
Yeah. What was the name of the band? Gau? Gao, I think
Gao.
it's from
Gao
Ghana or
was the song,
Nigeria.
I think.
Gao is the name of the. What's the name of the band? Magic System.
Yeah,
maybe that's
Maduro,
what
was it Magic System? Magic System.
Magic System, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're so right. Here, as long as the beat thumps you and
Yeah,
you.
like look at me. I rap in French. I'm in
Yes.
Uganda.
Yes.
I have a full album with Zex Belangi.
Yes.
I have a full album with Nutty Nathan.
Oh,
I have-
Nutty is crazy.
I have
I'm
songs
fe-
with Fefe
I'm
Busi. with-
featuring Nutty on one of the songs that's coming out.
Nutty is highly gifted
Very.
in the music
Yes,
creation,
yes.
in the top line creation,
Yes.
in the he's my brother. I have a lot of love for this brother and for
Yes.
the generosity he had to.
What's the
to
difference
create an album with
you,
me.
when you are working with Zex and Nutty Nathan? Because both of these brothers are ragga or reggae.
Yeah.
But when there are those guys who are so gifted, even in Jamaica, where a reggae and ragga artist features on a hip hop track,
Yeah.
and the blend works out. You know,
Man,
Yeah.
both
So
both
both of them. What's the difference, and what was the experience?
I would say
like?
both of them like me right on the spot. So
Yes.
both of them like with Nutty Nathan we did 9 songs in 5 sessions.
That's crazy.
So every session, and not just writing and recording,
Yeah.
producing the
Producing.
song,
Yes.
then writing to what we
Yes,
produced,
yes.
then recording them, you know.
Yes.
And with Zex, it was the same thing. We did I think we did 11 songs in 8 sessions, you know. So
when I was
so
much,
both of them.
when I was much younger,
right on the
I thought
spots.
most of these guys were just regurgitating Jamaican lyrics because we didn't understand what they were talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, but and it's funny because it's a lot with Zex that I've learned Luganda. I've learned Luganda through the lyrics. You know, like we have a song called Tonsera. So now,
yes.
so now you know when I'm getting to the Boda stage and he's saying
Like, Tonsera.
7K, I'm like Tonsera,
Tonsera.
Yeah.
7K. Come on, Sebo Tonsera. You know, so I can't hold the conversation in Luganda, but I have enough of these words to
Yes.
pretend that I could
That
hold
you could
hold
speak the
conversation.
Luganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, man, that's really.
But I would-
what's your other word though?
But-
Besides Tonsera,
Well, I have Mbagalanyo.
that's a very good one. Yeah.
We had a chorus also. We had a song about the ladies. So when I find a nice lady after dinner and flirting a little bit, I can be in Kwepekila Nyabo, Kwepekila Tugende Nyabo, Mukwano Tugende.
Yeah.
You know, but,
Nkwepikira is a very good one. It's a very, very
So I have
good
some
one,
of these words, you know.
So,
like,
they're teaching you all the phrases that one needs to have, like,
yeah, exactly.
like keep their game like really up there.
So, but
Yeah.
I would say Zex is he's a wild force of nature.
Yes.
Zex, I would say, is a bit more wild than Nutty Nathan. Nutty Nathan has a side of him that is maybe a bit more zen,
A
bit more,
gentleman.
a bit more calm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Zex is the ghetto prime minister. And he hold his status to the level that he needs to. You know, he's a
Yes.
a wild, thoughtful, highly creative human being.
Yes.
Nutty Nathan also is highly creative, but I think he gets his creativity from a calmer place.
Yeah. No, Nutty Nathan, I think he's from a calmer place because originally his ancestors are from eastern Uganda.
Yeah.
There's a very high mountain there.
From
where-
Bale, no?
From Bali, yeah. That's the mountain Elgon. And most people believe that the higher you go, the cooler it becomes.
Yeah, maybe that's what
You
it
know?
is. Are you a Muganda?
I'm in Muganda, but even in Buganda, like there's a story of Mundu and Sarah and some of these people like descending down from Mountain Elgon, you know.
Because people in Uganda have adopted me so deeply
Yes.
that they start giving me name for me to be part of their tribes. You
Yes,
know?
yes,
So there's
yes.
already 3 tribes that have baptized me with my own tribal name.
Give me your names.
So in Muganda, I'm Ziwa.
But that's a good name. That's a
Ziwa.
good name for you, Ziwa.
I'm Ziwa.
Yes.
Then in Munyankole, I'm Musinguzi. And in Alur, from
Yes,
the north,
yes.
Alur, I am Jamoni.
Jamoni.
Yeah.
You need to give him a Teso name.
Teso,
Teso name.
please.
Yeah, I need to give you a
Yeah,
test
think
on
about it. It needs
Think
to be
about it.
thoughtful.
It needs to be very thoughtful here.
Because Ziwa is the white bird that is also the being of light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Musinguzi is the one who wins, is the winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jamoni is the fighter, the one who
Yeah.
go to the
Yes.
battlefield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
I want to have something that complete that imagery of my personality. Now that you know me a little bit,
Yeah.
find the right Teso name for me to be proud to wear that name. you
Most
know?
Yes,
def, let me
yes.
think about it.
Yeah.
I've noticed
Yeah.
something about your style, right? And it's very, very expressive, right?
Mhm.
What's the inspiration behind the beads, the scarf, and the hat? Because I've seen the hat in consistent
Yeah.
videos.
Well,
Yeah.
to me, it's unicity. I do believe that
Yeah.
conformity, like comfort, is where dreams go to die.
True.
Yeah.
Very
So
true.
and also art is supposed to comfort the uncomfortable and support to discomfort those too comfortable.
That's why they call it the art of making love.
Also,
it comforts.
Yeah, also, but it's important to discomfort people. It's important to take people out of their seat. It's important to surprise people.
Yes.
And me, I consider the way I dress as an art form. I consider my obligation as an artist to be eccentric enough for people to rethink how they're gonna salute me, how they're gonna interact with me, how they're gonna think of me. I'm a Muzungu Muyaye dressed with an African designer, with a Mexican hat, with Cambodian necklaces.
Yes.
I'm half Muslim, half Christian, 100% Rasta.
Yes.
You know, so I'm in a place where I force people to think outside of the box, to rethink the way existence exist, literally. So to me, it's an obligation. I don't know if you know the painter Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali is the one, you know, he has the small mustache like this.
Yeah.
They've been having the mask, the anonymous mask, representing him. He was painting these melting clocks and these huge elephants, and is the art he created was surrealism. And surrealism is things that look real that cannot happen in existence, like a flying fish. Well, there's some flying fish, but I mean like a flying octopus. Like even if the octopus, it's real, it looked like an octopus. It cannot be in front of the moon at midnight. You know? So by recreating these dream-like scenery, you force people to recognize reality.
The kind of things people see when they do mushrooms.
Yeah, something like that. Psychedelic and visions and even dream-like. In dream, everything look real, but you're walking on clouds, you know, or you're doing things that cannot happen with the laws of nature of the tangible world. And he said something really interesting when he was interviewed, you know. People were seeing Salvador Dali as someone super pretentious and arrogant because he was so eccentric, you know. And they asked him, is Salvador Dali a good painter? And he was, for his generation, the most influential painter that ever existed in his generation.
What age are we talking about? Because I'm not.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but probably the 60s,
in
60s,
pop culture,
70s.
but I don't think I've encountered this.
Probably
art.
the 60s, the 70s.
60s,
I don't know
70s.
exactly,
Okay.
but it was in the century that just passed.
What country are we talking about?
He was from Spain.
Oh, so
He was a Spanish painter.
So same as Picasso, or is Picasso different countries?
Yeah, they were contemporaries.
Okay,
so they were kind of battling. They were the two big superstars at the time, you know. They were like the Drake and Kendrick Lamar of the time. They were battling also through their art. They were dissing each other in interviews and real. One was saying the other one was fake, and the other one was saying the other one was vain, and all of these things. But one of the things he said, I'm not a good painter, and everyone was surprised because everyone see him as the most influential painter. But he said, I'm not a good painter, but I am the most important art piece of the century. So that unlocks something in my mind, is that the music that I'll do, the album that I'll do, the paintings that I'll do are only derived product of the masterpiece that I have to become. I am that masterpiece.
I love that.
So the way I dress, the way I answer interviews, the way I salute people, the way I use Luganda in the streets, all of these things are part of the masterpiece that I am sculpting to force people outside of their boxes.
I think that's the true purpose of an artist.
I think so too.
And in essence, it's a way of showing how life should be lived.
And also people want artists to be superheroes. They love 50 Cent so much because they survived being shot 8 times. They love, they want to see superheroes. So if you're conventional and simple and common, there's nothing for you to be an artist. Go be an accountant, you know. Go be something else. You know.
I usually tell people that our culture always expects us, or our society in Uganda expects the artists to live on their knees.
Okay.
But I told them that there's a way of being. There's this word they use, which is being humble. And to me, humble is not a bad word, but that word is also a sort of prison, because people are now forced to pretend to be humble instead of being your true self, respectful but not humble.
So to me this is where God hides himself most of the time. He hides himself in things that look like contradictions. So to me, as an artist, you cannot be just confident and you cannot be just humble.
Yes.
You have to be extremely humble
Yes.
and extremely confident simultaneously.
So what do they call that? What do they call that balance right there in the middle?
I don't know.
Is it the zone?
Yeah, that's the zone. That's the that's living your purpose. That's having the confidence to be bullied and laughed at and judged in public, knowing that God has sculpted a bigger throne for you after you went through the storm of public humiliation. That's also
crazy.
Something that is amazing, because humiliation is in the same family of word as humility. So once you get humiliated and you don't fall into your defense mechanism and you're capable of taking the critique and the humiliation, that will humble you. And once you are humble, you can walk with full confidence, knowing that you are nothing and everything at the same time.
Let's say that again. Humiliation.
If you get humiliated
and
and you can actually exert the lesson in it, exert the divine message in that humiliation, may it be losing a battle against Kendrick Lamar for Drake, for example. If he's capable of taking that public humiliation and taking the knowledge out of it, to me, if I was Drake, I would understand that I had too much pride, I was too vain, and everything that Kendrick said were actually lessons for me to grow as a human being and to be more profound, more thoughtful, more generous, more humble, and more these things. So if I'm capable of taking all of the substance out of the humiliation and have the humility to grow, it will get me to a new type of confidence.
That's really, bruh. That's really, really deep. If you're saying that that's how God works, because I see that in every example, right? In Jesus had to be humiliated first on a cross.
That's true.
You get me?
And even before that.
In
public, they were saying that he was a false, that he was this. The Jews at the time were saying certain things about him. The Roman at the time were saying, so he had a circle that saw him for who he was. But most of the people, even at first and even at the end, the masses were humiliating him. They were telling him he was a fake, he was a sorcerer, he was a this, he was a that, So he was constantly humiliated,
stripped naked in the
stripped
streets.
naked, slapped, pierced,
whipped,
crucified.
Yes.
So to me, that's the biggest example. That public humiliation, and he still had the humility to say thank you, gratitude.
Thank you.
I love you. I forgive you. God is generous. That humility is the strongest confidence you'll ever find on the planet.
Humility is the strongest confidence you'll ever find.
I do believe that.
It's really, really hard because we are born with these egos, right?
And there's something also. The moment in my life that I was arrogant and pretentious are the moment in my life where I was insecure. So arrogance often come from a lack of true self-love.
From an insecurity.
From insecurity, because you think, or your pride, you accomplish certain things, you want to be beyond people and hierarchy and above, so you become arrogant. And in other occasion, you're around people that you respect, so you start saying, hey, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, to try to be esteemed and loved by these people. They will analyze your behavior as being arrogant, while truthfully, you're just trying to prove that you deserve to be part of that circle.
Okay, now that's a very, very good discussion, and it's right where I want it. Now I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this moment to ask a true MC, right? Because now, we say all of that, right? We say all of that, right? And it's basically a contradiction in a way. And I liked when you said that God exists in places of contradiction, and you're supposed to find a balance.
Or places that look like a contradiction.
Look like a contradiction. So here's the contradiction.
Okay.
Our art form is about expression.
Yeah.
And in that expression, we're supposed to express the best version of us.
Yeah.
So the best version of us is us telling the masses of how nice we are on microphones. How do you reconcile that with what?
Okay, so to me, there's a time
like I'm so good on this microphone, I'm going to humiliate ABC. I'm so good on this microphone, I can do that. We paint these pictures.
But to me, this is not what impressed me the most. Someone trying to convince me.
I think the question is, how do you reconcile
Yeah,
that expression?
That's where I was going.
Which is supposed to be, it's conceived as, it's a very confident, but it's also arrogant to the people.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Someone like Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
He's not doing ego trip song all the time. He's doing like purposeful song about introspection, about the relation to his wife, the relation to his temptations.
Yes.
He doesn't need to say he's the best. Why? Because he's the best.
Yeah.
So oftentimes, once again, you will claim things that you want to be. So by you claiming you're the best is a proof that you may not be the best yet.
And
how about the guys who say they're the best and they back it up and they're the best?
Well, to me, they're not. To me, they're
Yes.
not the best, because the best one
Yes.
will find a different topic than themselves on topic. My
Yes.
favorite artists are people like Mos Def and Kendrick Lamar and
Yes.
J. Cole,
Yes.
who speaks from their personal perspective
Yes.
about the world and about important topic.
Yeah.
If you still have 12 albums and you're still talking about how great you are,
Jay-Z.
then you are vain.
Jay-Z,
then you are superficial.
on every album, Jay-Z tells
Yes.
us is the best.
So to me-
Monk.E,
Yes.
let me ask you, where do you draw the line between being weak and humble? Because if you're humble, some people can step on you. Do you have to
Yeah, but
like fight for
okay,
yourself?
that's a good question.
Or
I
you
think-
just let them slap the other cheek?
Yeah, but I think the humility is not docility. Like humility, for example,
It's not being docile.
docile and humble is different.
Yeah.
Like for example, for me, the humility of living the life as I should is the courage to say the Canadian government are lying. I have to have the humility to be in the middle of a controversy. That's humility. Weakness would be like, yeah, I know I should humble myself in front of the truth and claim the truth, but I'm scared that people are gonna judge me, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say anything. Then that's weak. Humility doesn't mean silence. Doesn't mean humility means the full acceptance of your life mission.
Please just repeat that. Humility does not mean silence.
Silence.
No,
It
humility.
does not mean docility.
It doesn't.
It doesn't mean you're being
means
docile, my friend.
humility means the full acceptance of your life purpose.
Yes.
And your life purpose is not to be small. Your
Yeah.
life humility is consideration. Humility,
Of consideration of even yourself.
yes,
Of
of
even
yourself,
yourself.
but
Yes,
of what's
yes, yes.
needed in a place.
Yes, yes.
So humility in a situation could be keeping silence because that little brother hasn't spoke for an hour and everyone is speaking, and now he's inspired to say something. So humility at that moment is to keep silence. But humility can also be for this older brother that he's been speaking the whole time, that is just cutting my little brother speaking. Humility could be like, hey bro, step a second, we're trying to hear what brother here has to say.
Yes, yes.
So in certain occasion, humility is silence. In other occasion,
You have-
humility
you have to
is
speak up.
confrontation. You have to be humble enough to accept that the truth lies in you stepping up in the situation. And that's humility. Why? Because you need to be humble in front of what God has placed in front of you. And if he has placed conflict in front of you, you have to be humble enough to not deride from it and to go headfirst into conflict.
Now let me.
And there's a beautiful image about this. Buffaloes.
Yes.
Buffaloes, when they see a storm coming, they don't run away from the storms.
They run towards.
They run in the storms, so the storm lasts shorter. Because the storm is going that way, so if you go the opposite way, you're gonna cross the storm like this. So humility is also this. Humility is not going away from the storm. Humility is the capacity to say, let me be wet for a second. Let
But
me be under the storm for a
Please don't
second.
say that, because you're going to make me diss all the people who have been going after me. I might run towards the storm and go through all of
Okay,
them.
but that's the thing. Would you diss them out of ego or out of justice? Because if you do it out of pride,
Yes.
this is not humility.
Yes.
Humility is to seek justice emotionlessly
Yes.
in the situation.
No,
so
it's-
if for example,
how about if it's to teach them a lesson, like as an older brother?
yeah, if you're capable of purifying
Yes.
the pride out of it and the emotional traumas or the emotional resentment that you
Yes,
have, then
yes.
yes, that would be humble. But we
Yes.
are human being, and I doubt that you're capable of doing it.
I'm
fully.
incapable of doing that.
You see? So I would say maybe humility in that position would be one of your friends
Yes.
using those stories
Yes.
to tell what's wrong from what's right,
Yes.
because he's not emotionally implicated.
He's not emotionally invested.
Exactly.
Oh man.
So I would say this is where humility lies. But that's a good question.
I have an argument though. I was telling I was telling a friend of mine that I think Jesus was hip hop.
So much.
He was hip hop because he had this crew of 12 guys. they all put on AI Yesu.
The sandals.
Yeah, and in it now going back to like the true essence of hip hop, he was preaching love.
Yeah.
He was preaching sharing.
But not just that.
Yeah.
He was captivating and hypnotizing people with the equation of words he was having.
Words and poetry.
He was creating punchlines.
Yes.
He was creating proverbs.
Yes.
And he was conducting high level of consciousness through equations of words.
And somewhere, I might be wrong, but when he was giving a sermon in the desert one time, I heard that he dropped the mic.
Yeah.
like after like,
yeah.
He gave them a few bars, so it's like...
Yeah, but okay, so let's dig into it.
Yes.
What is MC? What is the acronym for MC?
Master of the ceremony?
Okay.
Yes.
So Jesus was not master of ceremonies?
He was the master of
ceremonies.
Ceremonies. Yes.
He was organizing improvised ceremonies.
Yes,
and he was the master. What is the master of ceremony? Is someone who can influence the direction of the consciousness of the crowd he's in. When I say hip, you say hop. Hip.
Hop.
Naturally.
When I say love, you say your neighbor. Love your
neighbor.
Love your
neighbor.
Hey.
So Jesus was
Mic
clearly
drop.
an MC.
Mic drop.
He was a master of ceremonies.
Yes,
and
yes,
I do
yes.
believe that the first master of ceremony, a lot of people call me the shaman rapper or something like that.
Yes.
The first master of ceremony were the shaman. They were these old ceremonies in circle, ciphers.
Yes,
They were
ciphers.
in circle around the fire.
Yes.
And they were spitting game and giving consciousness.
Now, guys, what am I always telling you? What am I always telling you about Koi Koi? The first cipher is human beings around a fire sharing knowledge and healing each other, basically.
Telling stories with rhythm and all of this. Yeah,
yes,
100%.
Yes. And we all agree on these universal truths, but why is it that they haven't like really hit home with most people? What do you think is the disconnect?
Because it's too powerful. Because it's not trendy. Because the trend are engineered. Trends are engineered, and those people that engineer trends are not going to engineer their own downfall. They're not going to teach the people to become gods. They're not going to teach the people to find in themselves the godly power to become superheroes. They're going to teach people to look at idols. Idolatry. It's pure idolatry. Look at Katy Perry and look at Future and look at Drake. They are the gods. You're a small people. So they're not going to teach you that you have inside you for centuries the strength of your ancestors screaming to be alive. They're not going to teach you this. They're going to teach you, hey, you don't feel good? Go buy a new bag. You don't feel good? Yo, go check some porns. That's what they're going to tell you. They're not going to tell you, hey, you know what? Whatever you ask truthfully inside your heart, God will provide in due time. They're not going to teach you that.
My brother here doesn't have fingerprints anymore on his left hand. There's a reason for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
and
is
it's
it?
not because he's a yakuza or anything.
Okay.
But it's something to do with...
It's a Nigerian tradition?
No, not something to do with... There's something to do with phones and
Just
some websites.
Everything.
Pamela.
Okay. After, okay. That's still the Iggy Azalea battle. I get you.
Yeah.
But we respect you, huh? Even if your tastes are inferior, we still have love for you, my brother.
Yeah.
You're gonna get there at one point.
No, man. So you guys are now banding up against me.
Well, it's just that it's like it feels a bit. It feels
it has to be balanced.
because it's also called karma.
Yes,
You try to put me
Yes.
with you against him.
Yes.
So naturally, karma is switching games and giving you your own
Straight up.
medicine.
So
you
now
know?
you're using karma against me.
Straight
No,
up.
karma is
Yeah.
using me against you. Me,
Yeah.
I'm not using anything.
Okay, now you notice that there's an alliance starting to form here.
The Ninja Sea Army, now they have turned against them.
Yeah, man, but I'm really, really enjoying this conversation.
Me too. It's deep.
Yeah, it's quite
So-
And you see how it was all unprepared? Before the
Yeah.
interview, we said, hey, we should prepare a question. And I said, no,
yes,
because
yes.
God said, don't prepare.
Let it flow.
I will give you the inspiration.
Yes,
when there's
yes.
two of me in a place, I am present in that place. Electricity will occur if two polarities are vibrating with the right conductor. And the conductor is the consciousness we share. Our
Yes.
affinity for hip-hop, our affinity for empathy and human history
The love for storytelling.
is enough for us to
Yeah.
to be guided by the Most High into the proper conversation. So
Yes.
I'm highly inspired. I'm in my zone right now. I feel I'm freestyling in front of 6,000 people.
Yes.
And Questlove is on the drums.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's how I
cool,
feel
cool.
right now, my brother.
Do you like freestyling with a beat, or do you like freestyling when it's just no beat?
I do think that it's two different type for me, because to me, without the beat, it becomes more like a slam poetry.
Yes.
Where you are not forced and obligated to a rhythm pattern,
Yes.
which gives more freedom in a way, but you have
But we're talking to a freestyle champion.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's,
yeah. But you have nothing to
pretty much
rely
it,
on.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
You have no net to fall
Yes,
in.
yes.
While with drums, you could leave half a bar going
Yes.
and people won't be bored, you know?
Yes,
So
yes.
it's the same thing. So the drums play a role of carpet and of net of protection for you,
Yes.
but also it forces you to respect its measurements.
Yes.
While if you don't have that, you're more in a free form setting,
Yes.
but you have nothing to catch you when you fall, you know?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because free falling, when you think about it, is one of the most scary things, but it also might be one of the most freeing things.
Wow, it's called free falling, and
Yes.
it's freeing you.
It's freeing you.
It's free
I like
falling.
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
And there's not many things that are free these days. So
Yeah.
why not have a little free falling?
The best things in life are free. So we talked about numerology. We started with the number 9.
That's true.
We dropped into the number 4, leading you to the number 5. 4 plus 5 is a 9.
Yep.
But I wanted to talk to you about colors.
Okay.
And I've been looking at your Instagram
Mm-hmm.
on some of the pieces that you've worked on.
Yeah.
And the one that caught my eye the most was the red one.
Yeah. Okay. The new one in Kawempe.
It's in Kawempe.
Ah, look at you.
Roots.
Look
Roots.
at you.
Roots, because red is actually at the bottom of the chakra color.
It is.
So it's very rooted in Kawempe.
It is. It is. It is.
It's
It
very
is.
rooted from
Yeah.
my, you know.
It is, and I would say I rarely paint in red. Usually, I'm in the highest part of the chakras with
Yes.
the green, the blues, and the
Yes.
purple.
Yeah.
But the art I do is alchemiography. So it's the
Is the purple like this?
the what?
That kind of purple?
I used to smoke a lot.
Purple haze?
I used to smoke a lot,
Yeah.
but I stopped 3 months ago. No smoking, no drinking.
Yeah.
I became the boring human beings
No,
voluntarily.
there's nothing boring about
I'm
that.
joking.
There's nothing boring about that. He almost lost his life to a cigar about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, crazy.
Yeah, he quit too.
Shit,
So
yeah.
right now we are 4 people actually who no longer smoke.
You
Did
see?
you ever smoke in your life?
Nah, I never smoked.
You
Okay.
see?
Okay. Yeah.
What lies are you gonna tell about him again? What is coming next?
about smoking the pipe. You smoke the pipe?
Okay, that's
Like the
okay.
traditional pipe.
Yeah.
Some mean
He's like, bro, not again.
He's manifesting.
I'm not native from America, bro. But
Yeah,
I would say that piece is a special piece because I started the powerful process of painting pictures that I take myself. So I don't Google image anymore. My picture, most of the pictures that I paint are from my own photography.
Yes.
So, and I love to paint the people that I know in other places of the world. They feel like kings and queens. They feel like empowered by the time that I took studying their facial features to repaint them somewhere else. I did this collaboration. It's been like maybe 3-4 years. I'm building with this young king in Kampala, with the scene of Kampala in general, like people like Sparrow and Mos Upton and Atimax and Quizera and Wamala.
Yeah, Upton has done some work with us actually.
Yeah. Mos Upton is one of the OGs of the graffiti scene here in Uganda.
Yeah.
And he is also a mentor for these new generation. And this new king, I would say probably he's the king of the city as far as graffiti is involved, not necessarily muralism or street art, but really the art of the lettering and the keeping of the American tradition of graffitis.
Yes.
And he's called Alex Page.
Alex Page.
I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
We need to check him out. I don't think I've heard of him.
He's a Kawempe native, and for about 3-4 years, I'm giving him online all of my support, commenting his painting, giving him honest critique,
Yes.
And he always been humble, and so it motivated me to give even more to him. And so we were saying, hey, we need to do a first painting together. So he invited me to paint in his neighborhood in Kawempe, and it used to be a wall of airtel.
Yes.
So the wall was already all red.
Yes.
And me, because I'm trying to save paint, I have so little paint in Uganda.
Yes.
So I said, we're going to paint red. Instead of changing the old wall, the wall is already all red.
It's already red.
So we're just going to paint different shades of red over the wall.
Yeah.
And we painted one of my friend called Prolific One, which is the creator of the end of the week competition. They were three person creating that competition.
Yes.
And he came to visit me in Montreal this summer. He did the opening act of my new album launch.
Yes.
And I took picture during the event. And so I reproduced one of the picture that I took here in Kawempe. And the concept we wanted to do is that we wanted to play with styles and also have a teaching mechanism in the way we're going to paint, where we used two painting of the same photo shoot, one where his face is a bit more profile and one where his face is more facing us.
I've just been looking at something online which is about that. It was an ego. Someone was saying that an ego is always photographed from the profile side.
Yeah.
Because it really looks funny when it's head on.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. The feather that your logo has.
Yes.
Let me see the logo. The feathers that are there.
Yes.
Are eagle's feather. Do you know why? Do you know why the natives praised so much the eagle feather?
No.
Because it's the only living creature. It is the living creature that is the closest to the sun. So they believe that God has imparted specific nutrients in the feather of the eagle, because he's the one the closest to the mighty touch of the sun.
Yes.
So that's why I say that the feather I write my rhymes with is an eagle feather, because it's filled with the sun's energy.
Yes.
And because I'm the son of God, then it all comes together.
My wife has a problem with me wearing this actually, but that's a discussion.
Because of cultural appropriation.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I'm telling her it's not appropriation to me, it's side of appreciation. Then she tells me it's manufactured by the company and the natives are not benefiting anything from
this is true. So
this.
you have the right to put your own intention, just like the word, like the N word.
Yes.
That word is one word that was against you, then used for you, and then remix. So I do believe as hip hop heads we have the capacity to alchemy and to transform the meaning.
To give these words power or take away power from them.
But I would say she's also right. She's right in the sense that these people are taking from native culture and they are caricaturing native culture.
Yes.
But even in native culture, I've seen a documentary, they don't all agree. Some of them are happy to have some sort of representations also. It's just sad that it's always the white man benefiting from these traditional logos.
And that's her argument. I said, every time I wear this, someone who's saying it is thinking about the Native Americans, probably Native American culture and all the wisdom that culture has,
Yeah, but okay, so let me put it differently. So then how do you feel that when I'm in Canada and I speak of Africa, the first image they see is a naked black African with flies around him?
Or the poverty porn?
That's because that's the image that the white man has pushed of Africa in America.
Yes.
So the image that is pushed by these people doesn't necessarily mean that it's an uplifting image, that it's
from what I see from this.
And I'm not taking with this because I don't have the full knowledge of this.
I know. But for me, from what when I look at this, I'm not thinking naked Native American. I'm thinking chief.
I understand. The only thing
something regal,
because the imaginary image that was created of the Native American is not naked with the flies around them. That's a narrative that was created about the Africans.
About the Africans.
But the narrative that was created about the native
Yes.
also hold a lot of miseducation and a lot of, even you as an African, what you've heard of them
Yeah.
is not complete and is filled with white lies.
Yeah,
And
but
pun intended.
I have, like I said, but I have, I know we are digressing.
No, but I like that. That's also
but from Africa,
pertinent.
it's only from like all these indigenous tribes, right? There's a lot of depth there. There are lot of stories there. There's
Obviously,
a lot of like connection with something spiritual.
Yeah.
You get me? It's only that the knowledge has been so bastardized, right?
Yeah.
That we are not even sure what kind of argument we are having.
That's true.
Just like you're saying that 10 human beings in one room, in one heart, can never agree on the same thing.
That's true.
One person might be against using this image, while another person feels proud about it. If I wore those tattoos by the Polynesian people, someone might feel offended and say, but you're not from Hawaii, you're not all these other
that
things.
I understand.
But then some other person might be like, oh, this is a very, very beautiful tattoo. It's of a warrior. So if it reminds you to have a warrior spirit and it inspires you, then my people have had an impact on people that don't even necessarily come from there.
And this is why having an argument is not necessarily the key, but communicating about it is so important.
Yes.
Because it reveals our intentions, and then we can be corrected if needs be, or we can be justified if needs be, you know? So to me, the whole purpose is that those things shouldn't be taboo. We should be able to speak about this, and we should be ready to be humiliated and be humbled in front of the truth. And me often, like me wearing all these African clothes, you don't think that I'm being called for cultural appropriation, being a wannabe African, going against my ancestor and all of these crazy lies. But you know what it did though, is that it always attracted the right knowledge for me to transform my behavior or for me to be reinforced in my behavior.
But from what I see from your fashion, because right now we're talking about fashion, right now we're talking about all these
cultural choices
and cultural
exchanges
and conversations that need to be had about culture, fashion. And it's ironic that I'm wearing American fashion,
and I'm wearing African. That it is.
He's representing with something African as well. While he has his own personal choice, and
he got it
he's representing for the brand.
No, but I came with it.
But it's only like you.
He saw his Instagram and he's like, today I'm wearing this.
But this is true. It's also an American sport. This is a hockey team.
Yes, it's a hockey team.
So
it's Chicago.
Yeah. So to me, there's something interesting in what you're saying, and to me, it reveals also humans are naturally curious. They are naturally attracted to the others. You know, like I feel like it is important to ask certain questions, and it is important to defend our culture from vultures. But it is also important to avoid divisions. It is important to continue to unify, because they divide and conquer. They use us being against each other to continue to rule in peace, you know? So I think we need to unify in our unicity. We all different, and if we are all in acceptance of our differences, then we will come together to defend our differences, you know? And to me, this is part of the conversation. So that's why even when you said
I think
we're getting away from the conversation, I think we're right in the middle of the conversation.
I keep on cutting you because I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's all blessed, brother.
Yeah. There's so many
building
so many conversations to be had here, and it's a beautiful tribe of humanity, right? It's very, very different backgrounds, but we all see how many things we have in common. And also, that's what's beautiful about hip hop, basically.
Is it so different though? I do believe we all come from Africa.
Yes.
Regardless of our skin color.
Yes.
We may have been a longer diaspora than others, but yes, we have many differences, but we have so many similarities. They say like 99.9% of our DNA is completely the same. It's only like 0.1% that create the blue eyes, the black skin, the tall, the short, the all of these things. So you
mean to say that my DNA and Collins is the same?
No, probably not his, because he's more like a demigod and you're just a human, you know. But
here we go again, man. Okay. I see what's happening here. So you said he's a demigod and I'm a god. Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
That's what I said.
I see.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But when I see you wearing this, right? many people will try to get the conversation to cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
But with the understanding that I have, I know you've worked with a Ugandan designer who is getting training and a lot of world experience. You guys are having an exchange.
Yeah.
There's definitely some money being exchanged.
Yeah.
That means you're supporting the local economy. And I was actually talking to him yesterday, and he said, you do not take money you do not take any local jobs. You don't get paid to do any local jobs.
Yeah, I do service exchange.
Yes.
And I try to build a culture. There's some exception, like say for example, Alliance Française would do something. Then I feel comfortable taking that money because it's money from France. It's Alliance Française. There's some, but as a general idea, because I want to be also truthful, you know. I would say 99% of the time I don't take money, but there's small occasion where that money can be useful. But I would say I spend a lot more money than I make in Africa. Like to me, I make my money in the Western world, and so that's an African that educated me on that. The first time I came to Africa, he told me, "I hope you're not one of these white boys that think they're gonna save Africa," because the truth is
white saviors.
Because the truth is that if you are attracted to give to Africa, is because you understand that you have too much for what you deserve.
Yes.
So if we accept your offerings, we are the ones saving you.
Yes.
We are the ones saving you from guilt.
Which black boy was this now?
He was a poet from Kenya.
A poet from Kenya.
Yeah, and he put me on game.
What was his name?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, but Kenyans are like that.
Yeah.
Kenyans have that Mau spirit.
Yeah.
The Maji, you know.
He put me on game right away, and then I understood. I was like, that's true.
Yeah.
Even if people are trying to put a pedestal under my feet, I need to burn that pedestal. Yeah. I'm not here as a master. I'm here as a student. And obviously everything that I've learned is available for them to receive. But the truth is, once I leave Africa, I've gained so much more in my soul, in my intellect, in my body, in my perspective of the world, you know. So we need to stop having pity for Africa. We need to stop thinking that we are better and we are kneeling down to help Africa. I do believe Africa is not only the future, but it's the present and the past. And I do believe Africa is the best kept secret. And I do believe Africa is oppressed because it is the ruler of the world. That's what I do believe. And I am a proud student, promoter, lover, truthfully, of Africa. And anytime I've been doing things unconsciously that were wrong and I was humiliated by it, I took my humility, I built on my consciousness, and I went back with confidence to say, okay, now I understand a bit better and I have more authority to play my role in that divine fight to bring to the light the truth of this world. And I do believe Africa holds a lot of that truth. So I'm grateful in front of Africa's generosity to raise me into one of its ambassador, you know, even with a so-called white skin. Even people are giving me tribal name. People want me to be part of their tribe. People want me to grow roots. Everyone is telling me.
Are you thinking of the name?
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
By the end of the episode, you're gonna give me the name, right?
Most def.
Okay. So people want me to take.
Call him Muzungu rapper.
No.
We have Muzungu Boda. Now we have Muzungu rapper.
Nah. me I'm Rasta Chibanda. I'm not even Muzungu.
Yeah.
But so yeah, my brother, I'm grateful for it. And every time and often people who challenge me with cultural appropriation, it's never Africans. It's never Africans. It would be some people
were having a conversation about this. I find, because my partner is white, right?
Yeah.
But I find that there's a lot of white guilt that goes into, like you're saying, most of the people accusing you of appropriation are white people, right?
Yeah.
And I find that my wife is also like super conscious about the choices that she makes to make sure that she doesn't offend, to make sure that she doesn't. But I find that most of the conversations about that I've had about my sportswear are from white people, while the black people are like, well, but of course, you guys, you support Chicago. And I'm like, actually, my fashion choices have nothing to do with sports. I just like the color red.
Yeah. But I think it's a good thing that it's part of the conversation. I think there's a part of it that comes from the white guilt. And I think there's another part with the fact that these conversations are dominant where we come from in the media and in the conversation. So I think we are maybe a bit more intellectually involved in these conversations, not necessarily more spiritually involved, because it's not necessarily an intellectual conflict, but I would say intellectually in our culture, it's predominant in our media. So obviously it's in the forefront of our consciousness and of our consideration, you know? But it's not only that. Sometimes they are African from the diaspora. And what I felt often is that some black brothers and sisters will criticize me, and sometimes I see it's because I feel I have the authority to do certain things that even themselves as black people have not giving themselves the authority to do, like the way I dress, like some of them.
So you're criticizing me for wearing African,
but you never been to Africa. You never went to see your family.
Oh my God, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt.
Yeah, it's sad.
You're wearing Versace, but you're criticizing me for wearing African fashion.
Exactly. For putting my money into local designers and local merchant of these things.
I see that.
And it's also because, like, for example, I have like Rwandese friends that they were born in Canada, never went to Rwanda. They see me making song with Rwandese artists, and there's a bit of,
and yet they vacation.
That's my place.
And yet they vacation in Bali, but
Mexico.
They have never made a trip to Rwanda.
Yeah. So
okay, we see you.
But it's not to judge. It's it's to try to understand what's happening.
I'm judging.
So sometimes
if you can afford a trip to Bali, you know, Mexico is a lot closer. But if you can, you've been to Australia. Make a stop by Rwanda. There's even Rwanda Air. You know.
But so to me, it's more like I lost my train of thought. But it's not to judge. It's like I feel like a lot of people will project their own jealousy, frustration, insecurities to you. So you have to be able to use the criticism to do an introspection and to search in your soul what are your intentions. But you have to be able to leave people with their own process and their own capacity. Just even as your girlfriend, she may have to go through a different process of purification than you do because of her past, our ancestor, and who she is.
Her thing comes from peace and justice studies.
And I'm saying, like, me too, and like we all have different process. So so the things we care about and the details we notice in the world are a reflection of what we're working on at the moment. There's a proverb in China. They say, if you're wondering how to shave your beard, everything you'll see during the day is the beard of other man.
If you're wondering how to shave your beard, everything you see around
is the beard of other man. So if I'm trying to...
If I'm looking at Greene's beard, I'm like...
How did he shave it?
How does he shave it?
But okay, so let me give another example. So if I know in the past I had subconscious racism in my education, Canadian education and Canadian books, then now everything I'll see around me is racism. Because I'm aware now that without knowing I was racist, and I don't want to be racist. So everything I'll see around is like, oh, is this racist? Oh, is this racist? Oh, is this racist? Because never in my life I want to accept any racist ideas. So maybe you don't have to go through that because you never had an education that was pushing certain ideas to you. You know? And this is why I love Lauryn Hill.
I never realized I was black until I was in the US. Like I never, like it really never like really registered until I would be at some parties and I'm like, oh shit, I'm the only black guy here. But that's the thing. I get what you're saying, that sometimes when those antennas are turned on, that's all you can see.
That's all you can see.
While other people come from certain places, or that's not even like really part of.
It may be natural certain things.
You hear about it from like a black nationalist kind of platform. You hear about it in terms of the Mandelas pushing apartheid and Pan-Africanism. But some people have now like never even crossed to those sides, and the racism they know is only through the colonialism. And those antennas are not even turned on for them to even like see and say, okay, like these were colonial practices that are actually affecting me. I get that. So Greene,
this is why to me the title album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, is the most important title album in the history of hip hop. Because it puts in our face the fact that we have all been programmed. Like we go for a formation. At school, we get formatted. We get programmed. What is your program you're studying? We're being programmed we're being shaped and sculpted in a specific agenda.
Yes.
So we need to understand that we are being miseducated,
Yes.
and we need to deprogram and decolonize ourselves.
That's a
from
man.
these
That's a
things.
man up there who is always working with programs. So Greene, what do you say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself?
We need to unlearn.
Programming the masses with logic
We
and,
need to,
and
we
proteins.
need, we need to unlearn and relearn.
Well, unlearn
That's
and
true.
what are some of the things you think in African societies we need to unlearn?
You're asking him or me?
I'm asking
Okay.
him.
I think first to do with the religious beliefs,
Uh-huh.
because they guilt trip us so that they create fear
Yes.
for us to like try and explore like our own spirituality. They say,
Yes.
but this is black magic.
Yeah.
This, are you saying that everything that's from Africa is evil?
Yes. That's the
So-
kind of programming
Yeah.
that we're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we need to
It is.
relearn like new stuff.
On that very, very, very point about relearning, I find that in Africa, I'm speaking for me now, right? I found that my Catholic upbringing never allowed me to like fully experience fully experience life in my childhood, because everything was guilt telling me I was sinning.
Yeah, the guilt trip you.
The guilt
This
tripping,
is
right?
so funny that you
Yeah,
say
and most
this.
African societies are like that. Most people have never like really lived post-colonialism. Our grandmothers might maybe have survived it, but few of them. But in fact, the ones that are either Catholic or Muslim or this, they are all in certain boxes that have either broken up families and never allowed them to like fully live themselves as human beings. That full expression, there's always like a guilt thing attached. You haven't gone to church on Sunday, oh my God, you're evil, you're a sinner.
Yeah, you
there are
get-
all these types of names that are put on people.
So let me break
Yeah.
down something.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed studying the ancient Testament and the New Testament
Yes,
in
sir.
their original languages.
Yes.
So Hebrew for the ancient Testament and ancient Greek.
You read the Torah?
No, but
Yeah.
yeah, the Torah, yes, but not the other Talmud and the other Jewish books.
Yes.
But the Torah are the first 5 books of the Old Testament. So,
I find that
but
the Torah is really beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
but to me, all of that to say that sin in the Bible
Yeah.
is directly related to guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that the church is sinning by guilt tripping you? It is. So what if I steal an apple because I'm hungry
Yes.
and I don't feel guilty about it? Maybe it's not a sin then. Because the sin is the guilt
The
that is
guilt.
imposed to you. And so
Yeah.
why did Jesus came to purify our sin? It was because Christ came to tell you, you don't need to be guilty about anything. Do the right choice and accept the choice you do. If you decide to have a lover and to make love before being married, don't add guilt to it. If that's the decision that you choose and you
Yes.
know it's for the good, then
Yes.
live in that decision without guilt. Leave me the guilt. Put the guilt on me. I'll take all your guilt.
I'll take it to the chest. Jesus was like, I'll take it to the
Give
chest.
it to me, man.
Give it to me.
You know? So to me, there's a new understanding. I want to be good. I want to have the good decision.
Yes.
And until I'm perfect, which was most likely never occurred, which already always occurred.
No, it's a-
Everything
it's a-
is already
it's a-
perfect.
It's a perfect imperfection.
Exactly. So
Yes.
that's why that's another contradiction where
Yes.
gods live perfectly.
Yes.
But so then I don't need to be guilty about anything. If I'm doing the work to be a better human being,
Yes.
the mistake I make along the way, I should not build guilt with it.
Yes.
I should accept them as lessons and as places on my path to remember what consequences are being brought by making the wrong decision. But I
Yes.
should never build guilt. Guilt is a sin. So the moment you feel guilty, you are sinning against yourself.
Bar. That's a bar right there.
Yeah, that's
Collins,
for sure.
Collins, please stop grabbing whips and slapping yourself. From all this, you're free. Jesus said,
What?
"Put it on me."
When you said Jesus said, "Put it on me,"
Mm.
and you said that leave the guilt to Him,
Mm.
and He actually put a mechanism of.
This
if
is the
you
gospel
feel
of greatness,
guilty,
by the
Yes.
way. Collins.
You can repent
Yes.
and believe that I've forgiven you,
Yes.
and don't feel guilty.
This is
anymore.
so strong. You've put the template in front of us. You
Yeah.
said guilt is bad for you. You'll develop cancer.
That's for
You'll
sure.
develop beefs with your people.
Yeah.
You'll divorce. You'll do all. Don't put guilt. I'm
guilt
telling
and
you.
worry.
Be honest.
Yeah.
and know that I forgive you.
Yeah.
So forgive yourself.
Exactly.
That's
Mm.
beauty,
Free
bro.
yourself.
Be honest.
You know.
You want this. I can be heartless, regardless of. People even are told to do this. Go and sing it. Go and sing it. Like you should bang your chest so hard to like.
To hurt yourself.
Like they. Have you ever been to a Catholic church when they're banging their chests? Like, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault.
Yeah.
And actually, there used to be monks
Goons
that
in
used
the
to
means
grab.
it's my fault.
Yeah, Goons in the means it's my
Yeah.
fault. The guilds. You see the guilds, right? And remember how when we used to like miss Sunday and we were like playing around the church and they used to say, look at these bakafidi, abononyi. Because they're just playing outside, and your kids, you're bored. You know? You're bored.
Yeah.
So the moment they begin passing the collection plate, or they're going for the Eucharist, you're like, and you don't show up until the end. But there's a lot of guilt attached to
Yeah. Good trip.
to Christianity. Even that you've got your money, you're not giving away the tithe.
The tithes.
There's a lot of guilt attached to that. You get me? Like,
Yeah.
but they have no shame in taking.
They make it feel like tithing. You have to
the
take
money for widows and young kids.
like these guys make it a must. Like tithing, you have to take it to the church. Whatever I'm helping somebody on the street, that's also
Yeah.
tithing.
yeah.
That's
But-
God's work right there.
Yeah, but they make it feel like you have to take it to the church.
What's the most beautiful place you've ever visited besides Uganda?
So you mean like as visually beautiful
Visually
or
beautiful.
soulfully beautiful?
Aesthetically beautiful.
I would say Uganda is probably not even in my top 10.
Okay, here we
I
go.
come to Uganda because
Yes.
it's spiritually beautiful.
Okay.
I come to Uganda because it's humanely and traditionally beautiful.
Yes.
But Uganda is inside the continent. There's no beach.
Yes.
There's not so much touristic thing. Obviously, if I was like the type of Muzungu that
Yeah.
go on safari, maybe I would find what I'm searching for. But
Yeah.
me,
that's why we need to take over Kenya and get that course.
what I'm attracted to, it's the human being and the culture they have. And
Yes.
Uganda is an abundance of goodness.
Yes.
The 13 official tribes are gems to the world, you know?
Yes.
But I would say as far as physical beauty, Mexico for sure.
Mexico.
New Caledonia is probably, it's without a doubt the most beautiful nature I've seen in the world.
Yes.
It made me think of the Garden of Eden. That's how beautiful that place is.
You said New Caledonia?
New Caledonia. It's a archipel of
Yes.
like, let's say 300 little islands in the middle of the nowhere, close to like the Fiji Islands and stuff. So it's in the middle
so it's
of
like
nowhere.
that way.
Yeah.
It's like the farthest east, right?
Yeah, it's like between South America and Australia. There's
That's
little
crazy.
islands there.
Do planes go there, or like
Yeah.
paddle jumpers, or like real planes?
No, it's real planes.
Yeah.
They go from Australia or New Zealand,
Yes.
and then you get there. So it's a hassle to
I
get
would be
there.
scared to be on an island. Has to be big enough for me to land on.
No,
it.
but it like let's say in New Caledonia, there's
Yeah.
3 main islands
Yeah.
where they are like like a metropolis. They are
Yes,
like a
yes,
city
yes.
in 3 islands.
Yes.
But then around there, there's
So many small
hundreds of small islands
Yeah.
that are often inhabited. So what, like for example, I was at a hip hop festival there,
Yes.
performing and painting, and then our day off, we were like 12 of us. We rented 8 water
the jet skis.
jet skis.
Yes.
We packed it with wine and boombox and spliffs and food, and we just went 40 minutes in the ocean to get to a desert island. We parked there, we drink, we
Now
swim.
that's some typical white boy shit. You can't catch me going to an uninhabited island 40 minutes away.
And
because
then-
in my mind, I'm
and then
always
we went to
thinking,
another one, and
Because
then
in
we went
my
to
mind,
another one.
in my mind, I'm thinking if there's a tsunami warning,
Oh,
right?
some
Yeah.
snake shit.
You get me?
But
What
it-
if I get so blazed and something happens? Maybe a shark. And that's what's always
Yeah,
in
and
my
there were
mind.
sharks in the water. You could see sharks swimming.
That's some white boy.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that
it
was
sou-
the most
it
beautiful thing
sounds
in my
like-
life.
It sounds like fun. Yeah.
In one of those islands,
Yeah.
you have to ask in the morning what you want to have for dinner because they're fishing it during the day and they don't want to waste, so they fish the exact quantity and the exact species that you want to eat. So, okay, I want to have fried fish at night.
Yes.
Okay, 9 fried fish, shrimps, this, that. Okay, boom, he's going, he's hunting everything, bring
Yes,
it back and
yes.
cooking. Everything is super fresh. So I would say New Caledonia, definitely top 1. I would say my top 2
Yes.
would be Zanzibar.
Zanzibar.
But the thing is that Zanzibar is beautiful,
Yes.
but it's neo-colonized.
Yeah.
It's filled
Yeah.
with Europeans and Americans.
Yeah, and Italians.
Yeah, exactly. The native culture is nowhere to be found.
Yes.
Everyone speaks English on the island. All the prices are
All the most
American
beautiful
prices.
spots around are taken.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So
But-
it feels like Miami.
kinda, it's the Miami of Africa.
No, the difference
But-
is,
And the
are
Zanzibar,
people
they show-
selling madafu in Zanzibar?
Yeah, but the Zanzibar they show is that they don't show the real natives on Zanzibar.
The natives are in what? Old Fort?
No, they're all around. You see, it's just that around like these developed hotels.
Yes, yes,
the
yes,
natives
yes.
don't.
like
really-
they have taken over all of
Yeah.
the beaches. So I
Yeah.
guess there's more population inside and stuff, but
Yes.
all of the beaches are now like foreigner properties.
Yeah.
But I have to be honest, like I Googled, let's say, the 10 most beautiful beach of Zanzibar, and they're probably the 10 of them are on my top 10 of most beautiful beaches. They
Yeah.
are amazing. The rock formation, the
Yeah.
color of the
Yes,
water,
yes,
like
yes.
it's as if you want to
It's
see
really
the
beautiful.
beauty that God has put to the earth.
Yeah.
Zanzibar is a beautiful place to witness the marvels of the Creator. You know. But so that was just that your question. So I would say, let's say my top 3 would be these 3. Would be
So-
Mexico, New Caledonia, and
Uh-huh.
Zanzibar.
And Zanzibar.
Yeah,
We have 2 to go.
because you've been to Zanzibar.
I've been to Zanzibar.
New Caledonia is more complicated, but Mexico.
No, I said 5.
Oh, we
You've
have
given
2
me
to
3
go.
places,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Mexico, which side? Is it the east side or the west
No,
side?
it's the entirety. Mexico is top 1 because of its diversity. It's
Yes,
such a
yes.
big country, and you have
So do you go for Tulum where...
no Tulum.
Or do you go
We
where...
we call Tulum Tuluminatis.
Tulum in that.
Because it's all influencers and
Yes,
and
yes.
like cocaine and
Yeah.
that's really more the Miami there of Mexico, you know, Cancun and Tulum.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to be amazing, but now it got completely colonized, you know. But
Yeah.
I still go there for some painting and some projects. But there's something in Mexico they call pueblos mágicos, which are the magical villages.
Yes.
And there's a list of 180 villages that have paranormal activities
Mm.
or ancestral castles and stuff
Yeah.
that they cannot build a Starbucks there, they cannot build a McDonald's,
Yes,
they
yes.
cannot build a highway there.
Yes, yes.
And they are listed because they are nationally protected.
Yes.
And I started, because I lived there, I was married there. I was married with an actress in Mexico.
Oh.
I lived there for a couple of years.
Don't tell me it was Salma Hayek.
No,
Okay.
because she's American.
Okay.
Um,
she's
I
Mexican
know,
American. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
there's the word American in it. So I lived there for a while, and they have something called aerobus, which are buses, planes that act like buses. So you buy a ticket,
Yeah.
you don't have a seat
Yes.
allocated. It's if there's 60 places, first arrive, take the seats.
Yeah.
You go. It's cheap. It costs me
like Southwest.
maybe I don't
Southwest
know.
Airlines,
But it was
yeah.
so cheap that every weekend we were going to visit new pueblos mágicos.
Yes, yes.
And you see things, bro. I've seen some of the most beautiful thing in the world. Like I went to one of the pueblos mágicos. You have to arrive before the sunrise, and it's a huge crater. And when the sun rises, there's something like 20,000 birds that come out of it and dance and
Oh,
sing together
shit.
in circle. They dance and they sing in circle for about half an hour before dispersing into the
Oh,
jungle.
that's really
you know?
beautiful.
Yeah, things like this, bro. There's another place where mushrooms, like hallucinogenic mushroom, grow.
Please don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Grow
Don't tell
naturally?
him. No,
It's
don't tell him
academics.
about mushroom.
And
We have a mushroom expert.
So-
Please don't tell him.
but yeah, so
Don't,
like
don't tempt him with a good time.
I won't.
Yeah?
But I would say everything there, like the pre-Hispanic
Yes.
culture is
Yes.
amazing.
And their
The
art
beaches,
their
the art is amazing.
Yeah.
Their spirituality,
Yes.
like, and we love contrast. There, you would have side by side. You would have children of God devoted to the power of the earth,
Yes.
and beside them, you would have cartel member praying to Lucifer in
No
the same
way.
party, bro. In the
No
same places, in
way.
the same neighborhood. They have a cult called La Santa Muerte. They have a cult called La Santa Muerte.
But I thought the muerte is just their when a person has celebrating the Day of the Dead.
Yeah, but some of the cultures are positive,
Yes.
but there's some of the culture, like the gang culture
Yes.
with La Santa Muerte. Santa Muerte becomes like their death, like the la faucheuse. How do you say the
Angel of Death.
The angel of death that has this thing
Yes,
and comes
yes,
to
yes,
take your
yeah.
soul. They pray to that as their gods, you know, and that God is asking for them sacrifice of blood, you know. So there's a lot of
there's a lot
contrast,
of like,
you know, like
there's a lot of like, but even traditionally in their culture, now I can see what you're saying, because even traditionally in their culture they used to like do a lot of like human sacrifices on their pyramids.
Yeah.
And those pyramids still exist until now.
Yeah.
So it's funny that it's not funny, but not in a not funny way that.
But
they have like so many cartels, and the cartels don't give an F killing innocents.
Yeah. It's even to a point. I was living in the north, and they had a tradition to scare people, and that's what's crazy, because there's the two sides. Some of the cartels were ghetto invested, so they were helping school fees, medicine, pregnancy. They were revolutionary fighters using crime to fund the ghettos, and it's not to idolize them and everything. They were still doing some creepy shit, but a lot of them, it was a tool to save and preserve the most oppressed of the community.
Yes.
And then there's a new cartel that was governmentally created with ex-military, and they came to take the monopoly and take all of these small cartels out, and they use terrorism. They chop your head, they hang you from a viaduct, hang you from a bridge, they kill your whole family, they do like terrorism attack.
The stuff people see in movies and think it's
But it's not all cartels that are like this.
Yes.
Some cartels are just sustaining their black market. They're not necessarily evil perpetrator. But some of them are actually ex-military and doing like some tactical psychological traumas on the people. So not everything is one homogeneous thing. It's a culture of good and evil fighting against each other in every part of society, you know. So we should not, that's why I don't want to depict them as one big satanic thing, because that's not the case.
That's not the
but
case.
some of them are actually like corridas. They call this corridas. They do songs like a bit like drill music now. They make song about who they murdered, they dance on their grave, and they do all of these shits, and that's some evil shit, bro.
One of the things which Mexico for me, what it did for me was, I was always like, I didn't like seeing skulls. Or like people wearing skulls. I would never like put that on me. And every time I saw a skull, it was like, it reminded me of like death or whatever, and in a bad way. But then I went to Mexico and I was asking around about the skulls, and you know they have even flower vases which are like a skull, and then they have flowers growing through their heads, and they, you know. And I was like, why are you guys so obsessed with death? And then they said, but why not when it's a fact of life? You get me? Like you have a skull inside of you. Like this is how we remember the people that passed away. You get me? So I was like, it gave me like an understanding of it. And
me
like,
too. And also it bringing me back to art is supposed to discomfort those that are too comfortable. We are comfortable in our life thinking we're not going to die. No, motherfucker. Look at death. Death is looking at you in the eyes. And that doesn't mean a bad thing. That doesn't mean kill people. That just mean have gratitude for every breath. YOLO. Have gratitude for every breath of life, because ultimately you will have to go meet your ancestors.
Definitely we have had a very, very good conversation. I hate to end the conversation right here, because I know there's so many beautiful things.
It makes so much sense, because it's the death of the conversation.
It's the death of the conversation.
The life of this conversation has to come to an end.
It has to come to an end.
On number 9. We're finishing with what we started with, my brother.
Exactly. And you know what the number 9 looks like? It looks like a sperm, looks like a baby in a womb. It looks like, I don't know. It's like a very, very deep conversation. But we began talking about art, began talking about numbers. It's only right we end this cycle of completion of so much knowledge gained through this journey, from the point that this was birthed with a freestyle, us sitting down, going all up through the world, learning about geography, culture,
spirituality, culture,
colonization, dealing with racism, dealing with fashion, dealing with conversations of, is it appropriation? Is it appreciation? Like all these other conversations that we are glad that you honored our invitation to come through and share. And I would also like to invite you at some point when we have a workshop with the young men we work with here at Baboon Forest to do a talk.
Please.
and also teach art. You know, like let them teach you, let them teach you, you teach them.
Yeah.
Have an exchange, and in this very beautiful life that we're living in, we only have to inspire, ignite that fire, and then move on to the next. The room shines brighter because a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. So many projects for Monk.E to look forward to. He says he has 5 albums coming. He has 4 past albums.
2024, yeah.
2024. Where can the people find this music?
Well, my name is written Monk, M-O-N-K,
Yes.
.E. So
Yes.
if you Google me, if you say Monk.E Spotify, Monk.E Instagram, Monk.E YouTube, you'll find everything. And I manage all my social media, so you can write me directly in my DM. I'm an open book. I shared, if you want to send your song, your painting, you want to have an honest criticism, and you're ready to be humiliated and take the humility to grow. I will never purposely humiliate you, but I will be honest so you can see actually your weakest link, so you can work on your weakest link. And I will also share love to your strong link, so you can be motivated and proud for the journey you have already accomplished.
Yes.
But there's always more to accomplish. Until death, we need to be growing in our spirit, in our mind, in our social networks. And that's what we did today. I'm super happy about the growth we had.
Yes.
And I'm grateful to have a new family, new tribe, and a new Teso name.
A new Teso name. Yes, weaknesses. Working on your weaknesses is how you gain the strength.
Yeah.
That's the biggest lesson to take away from here. You have to be humiliated in order to be elevated.
Yes.
In your confidence and in your dealings with other people and in your dealings with life.
100%.
Greene, Amani, Mr. Ejakite Edimu, who's about to give Monk.E the Teso name.
Yeah.
So here we are. What's the name that you have for this gentleman?
And after I give the name, there is one small thing I wanted you to hint on.
Take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you a name called Opolot. Opolot. Yes.
Opolot. Yeah.
So what does Opolot mean?
Opolot is like you can put it in a context of like the eldest. Or
Okay.
the
Yes.
elder
Elder.
brother.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, the one who,
The OG.
yeah, the OG.
The wise
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Something like
Amazing.
that. Yes.
Opolot.
Yes.
Thank you, my brother.
Opolot.
Opolot now. I have my
Yeah.
Teso name.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I studied with an Opolot in high school, and he was a solid brother.
Amazing.
He's solely right that the name fits you.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Amazing.
because our the eldest person,
Yeah.
or the one we call Jaja in Luganda, we call them Epolon.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Epolon.
Epolon. So Opolot as a name is someone,
Yeah.
Respected.
Yes,
and-
yes.
I think you're giving him this name because you realize that he's an old spirit, right?
He's an old soul.
He's an old soul. Eh?
He has too much knowledge that he needs to feed the other. So if he's at the top, he
Yes.
will be able to, pull
We
up.
can tap him.
Hey.
Amazing. Thank you, my brother.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
super meaningful.
Here we
You're
go.
welcome.
Baboon Forest Entertainment. With
Gee, before
Opolot.
you wind up,
Yes,
I
yes.
made a request.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just wanted him to. He said that he does his paintings and the art.
Yes.
You don't Google
Yeah.
pictures and everything.
Yeah.
And to clarify, are you the one who did the Moselle Radio mural?
I did
Oh,
the
yes.
Blue Mosaic Radio
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
at DNA Bar, Chameleon
Yeah.
Bar in
Yes.
Kololo.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that kind of made me famous here.
Yeah.
Because first of all, a lot of people were using that image.
Yeah.
They were going to do their videos there, going
Yes, yes.
their podcast there.
Yeah.
And they couldn't understand that it was a Muzungu that did this.
Yeah.
Yes.
How can a Muzungu love our culture so
Yeah.
much
Yes.
to paint our hero,
Yeah.
like this?
Yes.
And
yes.
that's a deep story. The project came through Maxi Kizito. I don't know if you know this brother. He's established here as a Muzungu full of tattoo.
Yeah.
Another Chibanda.
Yeah.
Local Chibanda.
Another Chibanda.
Another Chibanda.
Yeah.
And he saw my work that I was doing all around the city, and he told me that he was opening a bar with Chameleon,
Yeah.
and that he needed to have the bar blessed with the presence of Radio
Of
Mosaic.
radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's the one who asked me, and from there I met Chameleon. I painted for him. I met
Yeah.
Eddie Kenzo. I
Yeah.
painted his studio also.
Yes.
Judith Hard. A lot of
Yeah.
people were through the year and a half that DNA existed.
Yeah.
I was often there, and I met a lot of journalists and models and great artists. So it threw me to the elite, the artistic and cultural elite of Uganda through an act of benevolence. I don't do it for the money. I did it really to honor Ugandan culture and to give back for everything Uganda has given me.
Yeah. Actually,
definitely. We need one.
Yeah, that's right now where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're seated with a legend.
Yeah.
Because he's like the hip
Oh,
hop king.
I'm so humbled.
The
I'm
hip hop.
humiliated.
He's always. But he's called.
I think it's the opposite now.
Yeah.
I think you're celebrated. Make sure you stay humble.
Yeah.
Through the celebration.
So humble.
He actually changed the trajectory of hip hop from back then, how
Yeah.
it was, and people received
Bro, you know I feel funny
You
when
know?
people talk about me that way, in a positive
So you
way.
just have to close your ears, bro.
Okay.
It's good to
Yeah.
receive your flower while you can smell them. So
Okay,
so- Yeah.
smell the flowers, my
Okay.
brother.
So he already has a mural in Kawempe.
He does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've probably seen it.
I'm not sure.
Maybe it has Simbi, right there. But when it comes to rap and hip hop, he's the most respected and
Yeah.
like most admired.
Yeah. His
You know?
name. I knew of his name before I knew of the human beings.
Yeah.
So that's an example.
Yeah, and even Mose Radio, the
Yeah.
one you painted, always said it was like the two greatest musicians in Uganda is me and G, and they even have tracks together and everything. So
wow.
it was so amazing.
That's a
yeah.
beautiful. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
celebration, my brother.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're gonna insult you now. You can listen.
Okay.
We're gonna insult
I
you
can
now.
listen now.
We're
Okay.
gonna
No,
insult
yeah,
you.
it's
So,
crazy because he's covering, but
Yeah, he
all
has the
our mics
headphones.
are,
Come on. Come on now.
But he spoke about the mural that you did of Mose Radio. It's
Yeah.
a very, very... I haven't even seen the mural.
Yeah.
But I've seen the videos.
Yeah.
You get me? And it's funny that we're coming to Mose's birth week.
Mm-hmm.
And we were born in the same birth, same month, same everything, and went to school in Chira College Boutique, which is in the east.
Wow.
And we've created songs.
That I didn't know. That's amazing.
Yeah.
To have song with Radio Mose is an achievement in itself.
But we had more wonderful conversations than we even did songs.
I understand.
I think we went to studio and had conversations outside the studio, and we would always be reminded that, yo guys,
Do
you're
a song
musicians,
now.
right?
Put that in music now.
It's 4 a.m. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was that kind of very special brother, very magnetic.
Yeah.
I've never worked with a more talented person, and it's like Uganda has a void for me. Every time I come back, it's like there's that person who is missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Uganda's never been the same for me. You know.
Yeah.
And I would like to take this opportunity to say again, rest in peace, King.
Rest in peace.
Always missed, always an inspiration, and will always continue to be an inspiration. It's upon us to now carry on his legacy.
My brother,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the work you've done.
Yes.
And Kawempe is a great neighborhood.
Better than Kamocha.
No,
That's what you're
no,
about.
no.
Finally, that's
Why do you
about to
why do
say
you have to ruin it?
Yeah,
why do you have to ruin it for me?
Yeah.
I was
Thank
gonna
you, brother. Thank you for the invite. You're the greatest rapper Uganda's ever had. You'll always be great. Kawempe, where you come from, is the best place I've ever seen in the world. It's so beautiful.
Hey, my
It's
people.
so amazing.
We love you.
GNL
I am-
Zamba, boom for his entertainment.
I am
Edimo
Monk.E
Collins.
from Kamocha.
And
Shout out to all my people in Kawempe, in
Yes.
Kampala, in the old Uganda, East Africa, Africa,
Yes.
the world, baby.
Yeah.
We are one regardless of our association and our identification. I am so grateful that I was received by the great minds of these 3 and even 4 with the brother on the camera.
Yes.
4 great people welcoming me in the art of conversation and divine prayers, because these were prayers. These were building blocks into my understanding of the world. And through their vulnerability and their honesty, I was able to grow today. An hour was worth probably 3 months of university, because we spoke from the heart, beyond the books, beyond the theory, in practice, in our real life experiences. And there's nothing greater than that in wealth. So I'm grateful for the wealth and the gems that you've put in my pocket today, my brother.
Thank you so much.
my
Opolot!
brother. Yes, big up, my brother. Thank you
Opolot.
so much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Peace.
Bye.